What are some Bible verses that you will never hear in church? What I'm going to read today is from the book of Proverbs out of the Holy Bible. Now, there are many different versions of the Bible. Some are worded slightly different, but in general context, you will get the idea. Again, all of these verses are out of the book of Proverbs, one of my favorite books out of the Bible. It's basically wisdom from King Solomon, and some of the verses are not necessarily nice sounding. However, we need to distill them down and try to learn the wisdom from them. So let's get started. Again, these are verses that you will not hear on Sunday morning, and I'm going to tell you why you will not hear these verses after I read them. A woman of stupidity is boisterous. She is simple-mindedness itself and has come to know nothing whatever. A capable wife is a crown to her owner, but as rottenness in his bones is she that acts shamefully. Better is it to dwell upon a corner of a roof than with a contentious wife, although in a house in common. A capable wife who can find, her value is far more than that of corals. I've also heard it worded as far greater than rubies. In her, the heart of her owner has put trust, and there is no gain lacking. She has rewarded him with good and not bad all the days of her life. She has sought wool and linen, and she works at whatever is the delight of her hands. She has proved to be like the ships of a merchant. From far away she brings in her food. She also gets up while it is still night and gives food to her household and the prescribed portion to her young women. She has considered a field and proceeded to obtain it. From the fruitage of her hands she has planted a vineyard. She has girded her hips with strength, and she invigorates her arms. She has sensed that her trading is good, and her lamp does not go out at night. Her hands she has thrust out to the distaff, and her own hands take hold of the spindle. Her palm she has stretched out to the afflicted one, and her hands she has thrust out to the poor one. She does not fear for her household because of the snow, for all her household are clothed with double garments. Coverlets she have made for herself. Her clothing is of linen and wool dyed a reddish purple. Her owner is someone known in the gates when he sits down with the older men of the land. She has made even undergarments and proceeded to sell them, and belts she has given to the tradesmen. Strength and splendor are her clothing, and she laughs at a future day. Her mouth she has opened in wisdom, and the law of loving kindness is upon her tongue. She is watching over the goings on of her household, and the bread of laziness she does not eat. Her sons have risen up and proceeded to pronounce her happy. Her owner rises up, and he praises her. There are many daughters that have shown capableness, but you have ascended above them all. Charm may be false and prettiness may be vain, but the woman that fears Jehovah is the one that procures praise for herself. Give her of the fruitage of her hands, and let her works praise her even in the gates. Just a few verses out of Proverbs that you will never hear in church. particularly the one in regards to it's better to dwell on the corner of a roof than live with a contentious wife or woman. And you may ask, well, why don't we hear these things in church? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Modern churches today, organized religion today, is catered to the middle-aged and older woman, older female. And the reason for that is that a lot of times women in middle age and older age are trying to repackage themselves, to remarket themselves for maybe their initial husband or a new husband. They may be a single mother. And so if you don't believe me, go and visit your local church, especially the mega churches where you have a whole lot of people, usually a rock band is playing. And that's the main, these modern churches are revenue generators. They are businesses. And they know this, their mission, although it's not their primary mission, they do have a mission to bring in revenue and turn a profit. And that is their main customer. So they're not going to communicate verses out of the Bible that may be hard to digest, that may come across as abrasive or harsh, or people might even take offense to. And they tend to pick and choose their verses for their audience. They choose verses that are feel good, warm and fuzzy. And they have always done that. I used to go to church when I was very young, and I've been as an adult as well. And I observed these things. Now, I absolutely believe that it is completely important for a human to be religious, spiritual. However, I don't think it matters on how you do that. I think that is up to the individual. I think no matter which religion you choose to practice, which way you choose to be religious or spiritual, that's completely up to you. Nobody should interfere with that. However, in regards to these mega churches and the organized religion as it's done today, I am not a fan. I avoid them at all costs. I just think it's a personal matter, and people need to be left alone about it. But I do not like to see people taking things out of context with the written word out of these religious texts, picking and choosing and catering to their audience for mere revenue generation and trying to grow their customer base, because that is their customer. And I just think this needs to be talked about a little bit more. And I'd love for you all to comment on the topic and share this video. And if you could tap the thumbs up, subscribe, it certainly helps the channel out. But again, comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Have a great day.